Okay, so the Pirates make a huge trade. Welcome to a mini episode of Bucs Bounty. Michael McKenry, Steven Brault joining you here. Michael, big swings for the Buccos. You got to love it. Seems like a great return. And let's just get into it. So, a three-way trade. Pirates lose Mike Burrows and they gain Brandon Lowe, Jake Mangum, and Mason Montgomery from the Rays. The Astros lose Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito, two young players. They get Mike Burrows. That's who they wanted out of this trade. Michael, you heard from your little birdies that the Astros are really in on Mike Burrows. We'll get into that in a second. And then the Rays lose, obviously, Lowe, Mangum, Montgomery, and they are the ones who receive Jacob Melton and Anderson Brito. All in all, a great return for a one starting pitcher the Pirates are losing. They have a few. We've talked about that a lot. That depth is now pretty much gone with trading away Oviedo and Burrows. But I want to hear from you, from the source itself. What was the Astros, or what were the Astros really looking into with Mike Burrows? Why did they want him so much?
So first off, are the baseballs guys just giving and giving to us? I mean, we got names galore now. I mean, we have a
Names, dude.
Mangum and we have a password.
That
I
is
mean,
true.
it's just getting better and better. And then we have a little second baseman. We got Nick Gonzalez. The little guys are winning. You said it was a mini Bucks Bounty. I think it's just a mini Pirates theme is what's
You
going on.
take that middle of the infield, and not very tall, but
Nope.
more pop than you would think, especially from Lowe. 31 homers last year from Lowe. I mean, that's something the Pirates desperately need.
Yeah, before we get into that, so Brett Strom last year was talking about how much he loved Mike Burrows and how he fit in the kind of Astros thought process in young arms. And if they could get him, they would definitely try. You hear that and you don't think much of it. And then I run into some people that once again bring up Mike Burrows' name. It just was a consistent name. They knew Ashcraft was pretty much unavailable. Didn't know that until recently, but he's kind of been in the limelight of like who could really have a breakout season. Mike Burrows kind of been behind the scenes, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get the attention he deserved, but you look at some of the games he put together and what the Astros are trying to do, right? They're trying to figure out how to fill in some of the guys they lost. They have some really good front of the arm or front of the rotation arms. I think plugging him in right in the middle. I think he's a middle rotation guy. In certain days, this guy will step up and be a 1 or a 2. He's probably a 3 or 4 when you look at it a consistent basis. But we're better to go for him. And my thing, Brawlty, and I want to lead you into this, is I was waiting for the ball to drop. You're talking about 3 major league players we got for a guy that really has roughly a year in the major leagues of service time, if that. I think it's just under a year.
Yeah.
All said and done. He came up in May last year, pitched really well in the minor leagues. I mean, just dominated, came up, had some spurts where he was just incredible, pitched good out of the bullpen, and started. Also had his hiccups, as most youngsters do. But you don't normally see a 2-time All-Star, one of the best Tampa Bay Rays in history, a guy that's gotten MVP votes 3 times in the top 10. That's low. And then you see 100 miles an hour from Montgomery. The one that blew my mind was Mangum.
Yeah.
297 and an elite defender. He's a piece we needed that nobody would probably talk about, because what are we going to win on? Pitching and defense. This guy just added that value completely. And the fact that he can hit and find barrel is huge. But like, you had to think, Brawlty, did we finally get Tampa back after that trade when you were a Pirate and you gave up Glass now and all those freaks?
Yeah, Meadows and Boz, he's now an Oriole, Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, they're making moves too.
Yeah. It's interesting because with Oviedo, you got one maybe major league ready outfielder in return, but a higher level prospect, right? So that kind of trade from what Oviedo was coming back from injury, not totally sure what you're going to get, but he has been really solid when he's pitched. That seems like a fair return. Now, with Burrows, when you look at this trade and as a fan of the game, you see a trade, you see one guy going to a team and you're receiving 3 major league players back. You just assume that guy would be somebody like Garrett Cole or a top end front of the rotation type guy. Now, Lowe, Mangum, and Montgomery, not necessarily crazy great production. Lowe notwithstanding, 2-time All-Star, but with Mangum and Montgomery, you're not getting exactly amazing players. You're getting players that fit into this roster, I think, very well, though. I think you brought up a really good point with Mangum. He is a great defender. He's really fast. And he hits for contact. He doesn't really hit for much power. The most home runs he's hit in a season in pro ball is 6. However, or sorry, 9. However, he has always hit. His averages in the minor leagues are very high. He comes up to the big leagues at 28 years old. His average is very high at 297. He doesn't walk very much. He doesn't strike out very much. He puts the ball in play and he runs. That is exactly what the Pirates needed to fit into that left field spot. Remember how big left field is at PNC Park. You need somebody who can cover a lot of ground. I think Mangum, with all that outfield room, is going to be able to make a lot of catches, and he's also going to be able to spray a lot of hits. So I really like that move. I think that's going to be huge for the Pirates. But let's talk about the big addition here in Lowe. So 151 home runs since 2019. That's the third most by any second baseman. Simeon and oh my gosh, obviously Altuve are the only two guys above him. He hits homers. He does it a lot. His walk rate the last 2 years has gone down. That's not great. You hope the defense will improve, because last year it was really bad, but years before it was solid. So hopefully his defense at second base will go back to that kind of league average where he's been most of his career. But the dude hits home runs. That's what the Pirates need, a left-handed power bat. He hit 31 last year in the small park, obviously in Tampa. But now he's going to be playing in a good place for lefties to hit home runs. I think it's a great this is probably the best return the Pirates could have gotten, not to mention Mason Montgomery, who is a left-hander coming out of the bullpen throwing 100. We saw him last year. He threw against the Pirates in a game that the Rays were winning by a bunch.
Yeah, we joked around about it.
Yeah, and we were like, okay, so this is their guy.
Yeah, this is their mop-up guy.
Yeah, he's throwing 100 from the left side. Not great numbers in the big leagues this last year, but he strikes out a ton of people. He always has. So there's something to unlock there. I'm curious. My main question on him is going to be, what are the Pirates going to try to change? They did that with Dennis Santana very successfully. I wonder if there's something the Pirates see that maybe they can change that four-seamer into a running fastball, maybe change that slider into a curveball, whatever profile's best. It'll be interesting to see what they do. But, man, I'm just blown away by the return, to be honest with you. Burrows is a great pitcher, and I'm sad that we're not going to have him. But to get 3 guys in 3 positions that you desperately needed. You needed a power bat, especially from the left side. You needed a third outfielder that had a lot of speed and could put the ball in play. And you needed to improve the bullpen. And I think you did all 3 of those things in this one trade. I think it's a really, really good trade for the Buccos in particular. And I think you agree.
I completely agree. And I'm going to start with Mangum before Lowe. The fact that they got him, I think they can start password in AAA.
Yeah.
And then you think about how good that AAA team is probably going to be in the talented prospect pool. It's going to be the first time probably since the Jay Hay, Alex Presley, Darno, Mercer AAA team, which was probably in 2011, where they have offense galore.
Yeah, right? The team is more loaded with offense.
Yeah, instead of pitching. Yeah, you right. Came up when you guys were loaded with pitching.
Right.
But this is something that we've been hoping for, right? Having depth is huge, and not having this kid come over from Boston who is a frontliner in a trade with a major league arm, a dog in my mind, come over and try to be the guy. It's not worked before. It won't work usually ever. There's certain dudes that can handle it because they're mad, they're frustrated, they're not getting the opportunity where they're at. That wasn't his case. This gives him a chance to be with Valdez, possibly Griffin. I still think Griffin has an incredible shot to start in the big leagues, or praying they sign him to a long-term deal. Then if they do send him down, everybody's like, okay, well, we're okay because he's a part of this for a long time. Maybe a Longoria type thought there. But so Mangum is a huge hit for me. And then that also makes Jack Sawinski make much more sense. Because now you have 2 guys that can play all 3 outfield positions at a plus advantage, right?
Yeah.
We haven't had that in a while. So that's going to be interesting how they do that. Now with Lowe, I think if we could have drawn it up, this probably would have been the guy we would have gone for over the last 2 years.
Agreed,
For our team, move Nicky G, either shortstop or third base for the time being, because now you have Nicky G, who's very similar, in my opinion, with Mangum, but more power. So he has someone to lean on. But I don't think we can like really understand how good of a trade it was, because Lowe's got 8 years in the big league, 745 games. This guy has hit 157 total home runs. He's top 10 in like 5 offensive categories in Rays history. So this guy knows what it's like not just to play at elite level. He's been an all-star. He's been in MVP talks, but he's also
2
been
all-stars.
2 all-stars, 19 and 25. But also, Braulty, the fact is he played in the playoffs. Right?
True.
He's been on a team, right, like last year, that played at a spring training facility that wasn't even their own. So he's been through something. Like, he's coming to a team where everybody wants to win. The fan base is really frustrated that we haven't spent money, we haven't made trades. He's the guy that comes in. He's going to be beloved, right? If he comes in and does his thing, because he's a little guy, they're going to love him even more because he's going to work his tail off. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I think the defense side, because his defense last year was just below horrendous. And moving – well, I mean, you got to call spade a spade, but he was hurt, right?
He was hurt.
But moving Nicky G, people are going to notice. But the thing is, what is Donnie Kelly incredible at? What did we do incredibly well? We made all the plays once Donnie took over. So I think he'll level up there. And then I'm super excited to see what they do with Montgomery as well. We both think it's going to be a runner. They could do a curveball to profile with the four-seamer, but he's got to find a way to get away from that hit, that hitting of the barrel. He seems to hit the barrel consistently when he's not punching tickets. So it's a very big extreme, and the Pirates have seemed to find that balance consistently. But I think this was a slam dunk, man. I don't know if you could have done a better job to find compliments and exactly what we needed in our lineup, because me and you both believe we don't want the same guy.
Right.
So now we have a lineup that's getting very diverse. Now, if you go sign an Andrew McCutchen, who is a high walk guy, it's going to balance out, these guys that are going to be swing first guys like Lowe, whose walk rate's gone down because he hits the fastball, like 7,000?
Yeah, he had a slugging over 500 last year against the fastball, which is something when I talked to KY about what the Pirates' offensive identity, what they need to figure out, his number one thing was they need to hit the fastball better.
No doubt.
They were 27th in OPS and batting average against the fastball. So that's something that you got to be able to, you got to hit the fastball when you get it. Lau's a guy that does that. When I think of this, now my thought is, if you're a right-handed starter and you come to Pittsburgh and you're seeing Cruz, Lau, and Reynolds to start off the day, 1, 2, 3, like that's a tough way to start off for any right-handed pitcher. I'm curious how the lineup is going to be constructed against lefties, where I think Lau is obviously better at hitting lefties than Cruz was, for example, last year. We're hoping to see Cruz kind of level that up, him hitting more against lefties. But now, hypothetically, potentially, your 3 best hitters could be left-handed. If Cruz improves the way that we think he can, then you have Lau, and then you have Spencer Horwitz, who was the best hitter on the team last year. If those 3 guys can also hit against lefties, that makes things a lot more intimidating. But that will be seen still as we go forward. And we need Reynolds to go back to what he has done in the past, which I think he probably will do. Now, I just want to ask you, you think that the Pirates are probably done trading away pitching at this point? You think this means we're probably going to hold on to Keller? The rotation right now looking more Skeens, Keller, Chandler, Ashcraft, and then there's Thomas Harrington. Jared Jones will come back from injury. We're not really sure. So we're both of the opinion that the Pirates have to sign at least 1, but maybe even 2 veteran type starters. But as we've discussed, that's not something I'm worried about with Ben Cherington, because he nailed it with Tyler Anderson. He nailed it with Jose Quintana. He even nailed it with Martin Perez for a while there, even though it didn't work out at the end of the season, and Andrew Heaney. So I'm not afraid of that. And I think by the time, if you have those veteran starters for maybe half the year, if they're continuing to do well, continue doing your thing. But we're looking at Hunter Barco, Thomas Harrington, possibly filling out their rotation if they can get to their potential as well. But this trade was for offense. The Pirates needed to find offense, and they did it, man. They did it in a big way. This was my number one target for the offseason this year for the Pirates. So excited that they actually went out and made a move, and it looks like they came out big time on top as well. Didn't have to give away too much to get their number one guy. I'm I'm proud. I don't, is that weird to say? I'm proud of the front office for this trade, and I really hope that it immediately has the impact that we're thinking that it can. Because if Pirates can hit, they're gonna pitch, they're gonna play defense, and I just love it, man. I love it. It gets you a little bit extra hype for the season coming forward, right?
Yeah, and also like we had jingle bells yesterday on our phones or 2 days ago, right? It's like
That's
ding,
right.
ding, ding, ding. We have all these different like group text messages with people at the office and some of the Pirates people, and me and Steven were getting it all at the same time. And I just called him. I'm like, what's happening? This is nuts. But yeah, it is incredible. I'm glad they finally made the move. Um, the one thing that me and you, I want to bring fans on the inside before we talk about kind of maybe what they do the rest of the offseason. We look at like, okay, what do they project at our ballpark? And we look at all of it, right? We don't just look at like, okay, he was good in Tampa Bay, right? That whether they're a winning team or not, nobody seems to ever care what the ballpark they play at, who they're facing. We look at all of that. So like the one thing about Lowe that we loved is that if he came to us, he profiled really similar when
Right.
it came to his power numbers at our park comparative to Tampa Bay. Obviously, they were up a little bit last year. This guy's a 20 home run guy. We can almost guarantee on a bad year he's going to hit 20 home runs. He's done it throughout his career, but it also says with the ballpark projections, right? But also the one thing that we did not talk about enough last year, and I'm going to blame myself, is the fact that like adding a piece like this and a piece like Mangum gives us an opportunity to create depth in our lineup, but it gives protection to Reynolds,
Yeah, true.
right? So, like, whether you put Reynolds behind him or Lowe behind him, behind Reynolds, it doesn't matter because that's one reason why Spencer Horwitz had such a great year. Who was hitting behind him most of the year? Brian Reynolds.
Reynolds,
Who are you
yeah.
going to pitch to? You're going to pitch Spencer Horwitz, who got the short end of the stick but had really good analytical numbers. Brian Reynolds,
Right.
right? And then you keep going down, right? When Cruz was at his best, Kutch hit behind him. When Kutch was at his best, he hit behind Cruz. It's something that the presence of Lowe changes our entire lineup.
I agree.
Because now you have to think about it. And here's a cool thought. Now we have Cruz, who's hit 20 homers in the big leagues, Brian Reynolds, who's hit 20 homers in the big leagues, Jack Sawinski, who's hit 19 and 26 in the big leagues, Kutch, who's hit 30, 20 just 2 years ago, if he signs back, Lowe. That's 5 guys that predictably are going to be 15 to 25 in our lineup. We have not had that since I can remember. And I looked it up. The most home runs by a Pirate at second base is Noah Walker. I think it was 23. So he has a chance to beat the all-time record at second base. Here's the craziest part. 2019 is the last time someone hit 30.
Yeah, that's wild. Josh Bell,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so now we're changing the dynamic where we have an athletic, diverse lineup with some thump in the middle. But biggest thing for me is the presence and the protection, right? It's huge. Now, I went off my tangent. Now, the pitching. We both agree we need more arms. And Steve, I'm going to let you explain this a little bit deeper. The reason is you look at Skeens, you look at Keller, only 2 guys that have pitched a full season. But Skeens is still not pitched a full season of innings.
Right.
Right? So when you get rid of Oviedo, who's pitched a full season of innings, you have to think, okay, they're either going to get creative where Barco and Majinski are that swing guy, which I think they showed their hand there. That's going to happen. They're going to have Link there somewhere. And I'm guessing it's going to be those 2 guys. Who's going to fill that 5 spot? For me, I want Max Scherzer, personally.
I mean, I wouldn't complain about Max Scherzer. The problem is with Scherzer, I think you're going more name than you're going production.
100. But 5, if you think about him as a 5 and not a 1,
exactly.
It's like,
Right. Yeah. You think about him as a 5 because you have, I mean, if Skeens is obviously a true ace, he is like the definition of a true ace. He won the Cy Young last year while the reins were pulling him back a little bit. He still couldn't just let it go. This year, he gets to let it go. Right. So we get to see Skeens at his full go. I'm very excited to watch that, see how many innings he can compile and still probably have an ERA under 2, which is just ridiculous to say out loud. But then with Keller, you get a guy who we've seen the consistent innings. I think that if his production is a little bit better, especially in the first half of the season, that he can go long, right? He can go deep into games, but his second halves have always been his problem. So if he can get that second half under wraps, then you got something, you have a really strong 1-2. Bubba Chandler, we don't know yet. We don't know what we're going to get with Bubba Chandler. We know he's got a very impressive arm. Uh, Hopefully everything goes well for him and the transition to the big leagues kind of continues the way it did last year. In the last year, he did have one or two pretty bad blow up games. That's what you expect from rookies. It's just that we had Paul Skeens, and now it seems like everybody should do that when they come up. That's not normal. Bubba Chandler can still be an incredible major league pitcher, even though he had a few hiccups. I think with him and then Ashcraft, who we saw very impressively last year in the starting rotation and as a reliever, but he's a starter. Let him go. See how many innings you can get out of him. You've got four really solid guys in the rotation. The bullpen still needs a little bit of help. You've got with Dennis Santana probably being the main closer, I would assume. It'll be interesting to see how the guys playing before him. However, the Pirates have some really interesting arms in the minor leagues that got put on the 40-man roster, and I think are going to get every chance to make the team out of spring training. Brandon Bidwell, if you want to see some impressive stuff, just go look at his numbers from last year in AAA. He is nasty.
Ozzy.
Exactly. And everybody agrees that's watched him pitch. He's just really good. He's just really hard to hit. Hitters have a hard time picking the ball up out of his hand. He's got good velocity, a great changeup. It'll be
put that in perspective. He may be our closer, folks.
Yeah,
that's how good this. I was just down in fantasy camp and I told you, Braulty, like the AAA pitching coach was telling me, like, this guy is not just good. He's like real good. And he's crazy. He's an Aussie. He's going to yell at himself. And I'll never forget facing Balfour for the first time. And he's cussing at thin air. And I thought it was at me. I'm like, bro, like,
I didn't do anything, man.
You threw it at my head. Why are you yelling at me? I didn't do it.
Right? I didn't do it.
But I think that's what we need. We need the Pirate guy. He's the guy that's going to come in and kind of no holds bar. And I love it.
Yeah, and then Antoine Kelly as well. He got added to the 40-man roster. He's another dude who just throws 100 miles an hour, and he's gross. That's another guy that we could see possibly joining the back end of that bullpen. So there are options there for the Pirates. I assume what we will see for the rest of the offseason is a few smaller acquisitions, veteran starting pitching to give you some depth. And then maybe one or two relievers. Gregory Soto being added to the bullpen does complement that a little bit. Maybe he and Montgomery are going to be able to work together to figure out what little adjustments they need. Both guys who have great velocity from the left side and still trying to. Gregory Soto has had a lot of success, but he's also had some failures in the recent past. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys work together. But man, this team is shaping up much. Honestly, it's crazy how different adding Lowe into this lineup really, really changes, I think, the outlook for me and a lot of people looking at this season, because you needed one scary bat. You needed a real scary, proven major league power bat to really, I think, complement all of these guys that we already have that haven't played up to their potential yet. If you can get all those guys to play a little bit better, and you get Lowe, you get Cruz hopefully hitting 30 homers this year, and man, things get pretty scary for other teams. You didn't need last year to be the best offensive team in baseball. You needed to not be the worst. And the Pirates have just made themselves, just right now, they are no longer going to be the worst offensive team in baseball. I believe that. And it's all because you added really two guys, but one guy that makes all the difference, and then one guy that really helps extend that lineup a little bit more on base, more base hits. Man, I'm feeling pretty hopeful. Call me a sucker, but I'm feeling hopeful, man. I like this move a lot. It has invigorated me for this coming season. That's for sure.
Yeah, no question about that. I think they did exactly what they needed to do. Now I think the biggest move happens, because they were going to the offseason at kind of a win at all costs, right? They've been in on some big names and thrown out some big dollars that we've never seen before. So there's a lot of money left. And
True.
I don't want to, not talk about how. I mean,
I believe Lowe is 16 million, 16.9,
11.5.
Oh, he's 11.5.
11.5, nailed it
for
yeah.
2026.
You're thinking about year. You're thinking about Marte, because everybody's speculating that Tampa Bay is going to go after Marte now.
Yeah.
which kind of makes sense. We were on his no-fly zone, so we weren't going to get him. But you think about that, Steven, that gives us a chance to go out and annual value. We could go get a really, really awesome arm for 15 to $20 million.
It's true.
Right. And throw him right in the middle. So then you have a 1-2-3 punch. So those younger guys, 1-2-3 punch that take the load. So those younger guys don't have to. I don't know
Yeah.
necessarily, like, I haven't looked into who that could be, but like I feel like the strategy this offseason, even if it was slow, just getting the fans excited with the PR of possibly getting some of those bigger names. Didn't think we were ever going to land them, but just the fact that we were the buzz, right? The last time that happens when Kutch came back, we were the biggest buzz for about 2 weeks because, oh my gosh, the Pirates are in on Schwarber, right? And then we're in on Alonso, we're in on this guy. Whether we were or not, doesn't matter. It was great PR. So kudos to the Pirates. I feel like they really have done a really good job in so many ways when it comes to the baseball operations. And we can't not like say that we also have one of the best minor league systems in baseball for the first time in Ben Sherrington's tenure. So like,
Yeah.
it's time that we have it kind of all come together. So for me, either Connor Griffin signing, we'll end after this, Connor Griffin signing, or bringing Kutch back, Connor Griffin signing, and also an arm that everybody's like, oh,
Okay.
oh. And if they brought in two, it'd be like, oh, right?
Yeah, I do
Because
think
that's
the addition. I think the addition of Lau. I think that not only puts the memo out to other teams. Obviously, the Pirates are serious about doing this, but also to some free agents who may be at this point guys who have not signed yet. Right? They're talking to teams, and so when they hear from the Pirates at first, they're like, I don't want to go for a team that I don't feel is really trying to compete this year. But now you go get Lau, all of a sudden that starts to look a little bit different. And I think that a lot of veteran pitchers, I know I would if I had the opportunity
yeah.
to sign with the Pirates and go pitch with Paul Skeens and see if he can help me get better. Like that would be something I would absolutely do.
Dude, I was literally about to say that to you. Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't that be like, I think that's the easy pitch,
right.
right? I think it's easy to get Skeens to call Max Scherzer and be like, dude, I would love to have a year with you. And like, this guy's won a World Series, won a Cy Young. He's done everything. He's made $1 gazillion. I think he's still going to get paid $40 million between the three teams next year. You can get it for peanuts. And that's what my mind is like, if he pitches 10 games, the value of having him around Skeens and these young guys is invaluable. Plus, if he stays healthy, he's also very, very good.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just excited to see kind of what direction, because like they've obviously done some things in the past. Like I didn't see them sign Soto to $7.75 million or
Yeah.
Chapman for $10 million a couple of years ago. So what to sign us off in a dream world, if you have two names, I think the only way we were going to get a bat is a trade. So I think they did that great. But now we're on to what does our team need to kind of put us over the edge to say, okay, we're in reach. We're not just in reach of the Cubs. We could beat the Cubs. We're not just in reach of Milwaukee. We could beat Milwaukee consistently. Cincinnati, once again, same thing. Those three teams are going to be really, really good.
They are. It's hard to say. I don't think there's any pitchers out there that I am dying for necessarily. I think that there's a lot of solid choices. I would have loved to get Merrill Kelly. I think he would have fit in this rotation very well, but c'est la vie. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I think I'm going to be honest with you. I think at this point it might be more of the now we fill in the pieces that they're looking to fill in that roster on the bullpen side, on the starter side, with guys that you think can help, but maybe not necessarily be the big dudes. But I could be wrong. I would be happy to be wrong. That's the truth. And if the team is doing really well halfway through the season, then I can see something going down for a rental player to try to win this year. And then, because then you can still have that rental player and still, you still have Connor Griffin here. You still have this young core here with these young pitchers that you're still going to have for a few years. So that wouldn't really decimate the system to try to go for it this year if it's working out and then figure it out in the next few years. I'm hopeful, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think that may be the big move for the Pirates. If it is, it was a great move. It was a
Mhm.
very big move. Is exactly what they needed, and now you can round it out. And when it comes down to it, guys just got to hit. You just got to have the guys that we've seen Triolo's last 2 months, for example. If he can do that for a full season, my goodness, he's going to be like a 4-WAR player. Guy like Nick Gonzalez, if we can see a little bit more pop, or it doesn't have to be home runs, more doubles, more extra base hits. Pirates not only were last in home runs last year, they were last in extra base hits. You got to get more of those. There's a lot of grass in PNC Park, a lot of gaps. It'd be nice to see those hit a little bit more. But hey, you know what? I'm really happy with where we're at right now. I know you feel the same way. I think this is a good time to be a Buccos fan. It's going to be a really fun year to cover. I hope it's a quick start. And we're going to continue doing this, Bucs Bounty, of course, throughout the offseason. Hopefully, a few more acquisitions that we will talk about. We're going to really get into Don Kelly's new coaching staff here
Mhm.
soon to really break it down, because I think that can also be a huge addition to making all these players better. But that's all I got. That's it. That's our
Yeah.
mini Bucs Bounty. Michael, are you good?
I
You
do
got something to say?
you throw out a tease and I'm throwing you right out to the wolves right now. Um, you were talking about Nick Gonzalez, certain things certain guys should do. Um, Leading up to the season, I'm making Brault say yes without asking him. We will start to kind of break down the player that was and the player that could be.
Could be.
So that way you as fans can understand kind of how they evaluate, a Nick Gonzalez, right? How is this guy playing? He's only hitting 260, 5 homers, blah blah. Well, we're gonna tell you. We're gonna break it down. This is what we do before season, anyways. We're gonna show you O'Neill Cruz. How does he fix where he's at? We'll break down his swing. We'll do it a little bit of all of it. I think it'd be fun for the fans and Steven to be obviously just what we do. So
Just what we do all the time.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I love the coaching thing. I'm thinking maybe we get our third base coach on Bucs Bounty here soon. Maybe after
Ooh,
the holidays.
he is our guy. He'll be a return guest.
Oh no, that's first. That's
Oh,
Brock.
first base coach. That's
I'm
Brock.
talking the
That's right.
newbie. The
Oh
newbie. The nicest guy in
yeah.
baseball. If you don't know who it is, go look it up. Just a little tease. Just a little tease.
Mr. Beasley. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us here on Bucs Bounty. Go Buccos. Great trade. Can't wait to see how it works out. And we will see you in the next coming days. Thank you for joining us here on Bucs Bounty. And that is really, really weird. Bye.